Welcome to Black Files, Echoes Behind the Curtain, where truths long buried are unearthed and the ghosts of history finally speak. Good evening, my curious compatriots. This is your clandestine narrator, though in another age they might have called me an enemy of the state. Tonight, I invite you to step beyond the polite partitions of public history into the unlit corridors where power plays its dirtiest games. Our tale begins in 1956, when the Federal Bureau of Investigation conceived a creature of shadows and subterfuge, COINTELPRO. Its name, a sterile contraction of Counterintelligence Program, was chosen with bureaucratic blandness, masking a far more malevolent intent, the neutralization of dissent. At first, the Bureau claimed to stalk only the specter of communism. But like all appetites born of fear and power, it grew and grew. The net widened to ensnare civil rights leaders, socialist organizers, Puerto Rican nationalists, anti-war activists, journalists, the American Indian movement, and the most feared of all in J. Edgar Hoover's trembling imagination, the Black Panther Party. Understand this, COINTELPRO was not content to merely observe. It sought to poison the wells of trust to rot movements from within. It was a war not on weapons, but on words, not on armies, but on ideas. The arsenal included forged letters to fracture friendships, fabricated rumors to unravel reputations, infiltrators trained to stir chaos and suspicion. Against Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Bureau delivered its vilest act, an anonymous suicide letter, paired with recordings meant to disgrace him before the world, a vile whisper meant to still his voice before the Nobel Prize could amplify it. And the Panthers? Of 295 documented COINTELPRO operations targeting black nationalist groups, 233 struck them directly. Leaders like Huey P. Newton were slandered and trapped and smeared in the press. Fred Hampton, brilliant, unifying, 21 years old, was gunned down in a pre-dawn raid, a raid planned with intelligence and betrayal the FBI helped orchestrate. The machinery of suppression might have purred on forever, had not a small band of ordinary citizens decided that the truth was worth stealing. On a cold March night in 1971, calling themselves the Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI, they broke into a field office in Media, Pennsylvania. They did not seek gold, nor jewels, only documents. 1,000 pieces of damning paper were sent to the press. Most newsrooms recoiled. Only the Washington Post dared publish. The public outrage that followed summoned the Church Committee of 1975, whose verdict was unequivocal. COINTELPRO was a sophisticated vigilante operation aimed squarely at preventing the exercise of First Amendment rights. Officially, the program ended. Unofficially, its tactics live on, dressed in new language, given fresher uniforms. For the Bureau assured the nation that COINTELPRO was but a sliver of their work, a mere 0.2%. But influence is not measured in percentages. It is measured in precedent. And the precedent was clear. If power feels threatened, it will redraw the boundaries of law to cage its challengers. Even now, the echoes linger. Movements are labeled extremist for daring to demand justice. Undercover infiltration is justified as public safety. Political dissent is quietly filed under threat assessment. Different names, the same dance. The architecture of suppression remains intact. So remember, COINTELPRO is not a relic in a museum. It is a warning in the present tense. It teaches us that when ideas are feared, they are hunted. When speech is policed, the soul of a people is shackled. And when the right to dissent is surrendered in silence, it is rarely reclaimed without a cost. The question then is not simply what was done, but whether we will allow it to be done again. So I ask you, wherever you are, keep your eyes open, your voice steady, and your conscience awake. Beware the seduction of safety when it comes at the price of your liberty. For history has already told us the bargain's end. Those who trade freedom for protection will be left with neither, and in the silence that follows, there will be no one left to speak.